Good day. My name is Joseph Roberto, and I am a candidate for the Bachelor's of Arts in International Studies. And I am double majoring in International Studies and Political Science at Hawaii Pacific University. Thank you, and Sizu Osmaase, for joining us in the HPU 10th Annual Capstone Symposium. I am presenting on the Chamorro diaspora identity and their attitudes towards self-determination. The overall application of my studies concerns international relations and political science. In the international relations, we can see that Indigenous rights are important and that nation sovereignty is a critical issue, especially for the island of Guam, where they've had a long colonial history and are now a US territory. Recent developments have included the UN declaring that Guam is a non-self-governing nation. The diaspora and the movement of people also relates to the field of political science, where identity politics and the ideas and values in identity lead people to socialize into different institutions and therefore inform different political actions such as voting. In the case of the plebiscite for Guam, there includes statehood, free association, or independence from the United States. My literature review consists of 4 different theories. Cultural displacement theory finds that once you are separated from a physical indigenous land, you're likely to lose that culture of that land in some way, shape, or form. Displacement causes distress, but another caveat to that would be that the new place you find comfort in and you conform to that new place's identity and value system. Means only a partial loss of your original identity, but an integration of the new identity into your values. Critical Indigenous Pedagogy of Place by Trinidad explores and identifies disparities in Indigenous communities, empowers them to protect their own knowledge systems, and calls for reclamation of land. Cultural Reclamation Theory by Leonard finds that we should be challenging institutions and that we can protest, advocate, and educate people on their Indigenous rights in different various communities and political decisions. And to supplement that, Rational Choice and Game Theory by Whedon finds that self-interested individuals will use the values in order to gain what is beneficial to them. The application to voting would be that people use the values linked to identity to inform voting decisions. While all of these explain voting and identity separate, there is no direct connection between diaspora identity and self-determination voting. I then apply this to my theory and hypothesis. So the theories find that being culturally displaced in the diaspora forms identity, and self-identification therefore impacts attitudes of self-determination voting. I hypothesize if a Chamorro individual is identifying themselves as more American, they likely think positively for Guahan statehood and free association. I use a research design that mimics the 2021 Guahan survey by Dr. Fan at HPU and Kevin Lee, who is a doctoral candidate at MIT. We use a convenient snowball sampling, and I apply it specifically to the Chamorro diaspora. There is a sample size of 44 respondents in this survey, and I use a logit regression with my independent and dependent variables, the independent variable being compounded identity, Chamorro, American, or a mix, and a dependent variable of how they would vote in a plebiscite. So this is a visualization of this descriptive statistics. The breakdown of identity, we can see that more people are identifying as Chamorro than they are American. And then that kind of applies to the pie chart for self-determination votes. More people are valuing independence. And then following short is free association, followed lastly by statehood. And we can see that independence is a very strong opinion for Chamorro people, and statehood is the minority opinion. So these are my logit regression results. And these p-values do not support my hypothesis. So where we can see American people actually have a p-value of 0.996 for US statehood. So I cannot support that American people are more likely to vote for that. What's interesting is that the Chamorro independence p-value is pretty low, which follows the values of what many people are protesting and advocating for today. While these are insignificant in my study, approaching a value of 1 could mean several different things and limitations of the study. The data set was pretty small with only 44 respondents. It could be too small to make relevant inferences between identity and voting status, as well as the 2021 Guahan survey wasn't designed for the diaspora population. So considering those issues, I further revise the study to study the diaspora more, and we look at several other limitations. It's a non-representative idea of the Chamorro population. The Chamorro population includes the diaspora, but as well as the idea of Chamorro people in both Guam and the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. I look to increase the amount of diaspora respondents by modifying the design, survey, and data collection, and just hopefully getting more respondents so we can see if it actually is a significant link between the variables. I could also do a comparative analysis to the Guam domicile community data set. So I would look to take 50 diaspora respondents and 50 community respondents, do the same model for this study that I did, and then compare the p-values. If they're significantly different or there's a big difference between the two, then it shows that geographical location and diaspora is a factor in decision making. Thank you for listening.